was himself,
Hey.
Dennis Betts. Okay, well done. Number 2. I enjoyed leading the side. Someone has got to do it, and we've got heaps of injuries. I'm fortunate that I can do it, but I'm excited about the challenge. Who was leading their side this week?
Oh, trying to think. Who wouldn't normally be captain?
I'm not even sure he was captain. That was the thing that baffled me the most.
Oh. No idea.
Jake Connor is enjoying his challenge of a leadership role.
See, he wouldn't be displaying many what I would call leadership qualities.
Exactly.
But there we go.
Number 3. I just hope that they all got drunk for the second half and didn't notice it.
Lee Radford?
It wasn't Lee Radford, but I'll give you a second guess.
John Duffy.
No, it was Paul Rowley.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. This one's a bit of a longer quote, so it might stick in your mind a little bit more. This quote is, if you've got problems in your personal... I think it's something we all should heed, to be honest. If you've got problems in your personal life, you need to deal with them and seek the right advice. Don't be embarrassed to say you've got problems. There was many a time when I was younger that I had problems, not with drugs, but with coping.
Captain Fantastic himself, Sean Lunt.
It was Sean Lunt, talking about, obviously, the role drugs are playing in sport, but also...
I thought that was a really good piece, actually, where he decried that
too.
drug culture. Yeah, and he linked it into mental. I think that was actually really good points that were made in that.
There was kind of an all-encompassing balance to it all, wasn't it? Okay, so 2 out of 4 for you, Tim. Well done.
Okay,
Jake
so
Connor, I thought would
halfway.
throw you, so
yeah.
Questionable
okay, so
leadership.
Quiz for you this week is all about Magic Weekend.
Okay.
As it's coming up.
Yeah.
So we've got 7 questions around Magic Weekend. So start off with an easy one. So the highest single day attendance was at which venue?
Manchester.
No, it was the Saturday of Newcastle in 2016.
Oh.
And the runner-up was Manchester on the Sunday in 2012.
Ah, okay. I thought it was that. That was like perfect weather and Wigan
it was
Saints and yeah, that's what I was going for, that one. Oh well, no, none out of 1. Wasn't a good start for Mark.
Okay, how many months have Magic Weekends been held in? How many calendar months have Magic Weekends been held in?
Okay, there was one in February. I think there was one that was a May bank holiday weekend at the start of the month, but that Monday might have been in May and the weekend might have been in April. I'm going to go with 3.
2, just May and 2011, which was brought forward to be the beginning of the season in a rather cold Cardiff.
I overthought it.
They have actually been on every weekend in May. So every possible weekend in May has moved around. I personally think the bank holiday is the way to go, but
I think
either way around.
They do the championship on the bank holiday.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper to stay more nights in Blackpool. Championship. There's more championship clubs who have to travel further distances. Because Cumbria even to Blackpool is a bit of a trek, and you've got the London club. And potentially, previously with the iPro Sport Cup and stuff like that, and Toronto and Toulouse as well. So, and budgets are less for the club. So, I think that is why it's sensible for putting Blackpool on the bank holiday weekend. But there you go.
Okay, so question 3.
Yep.
How many teams have taken part in a Magic Weekend?
Bloody hell. Right, so there's been...
And this is official Magic Weekend fixtures only, not the precursors.
Well, yeah. Is this the 13th Magic Weekend this year? 2006 will have been the first, was it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. In that case, 16.
Correct.
Finally, I got one.
Bradford, Cass, Catalan Crusaders, Huddersfield, FC, KR, Leeds, Lee, London, Salford, Saints, Wakey, Wyatt, Widnes, and Wigan.
Okay.
Right, question 4. 3 sides have won 7 Magic Weekend games. Can you give me 2 out of 3 of them?
2 out of 3. Leeds will be one of them.
Incorrect.
Shit. I thought because they had Bradford for so many years that they would have won. And even when they didn't win, they got given wins by the referees. Okay then. Wigan and Saints.
Wigan is correct. I'll give you one more guess.
One more guess. Huddersfield.
Correct. Wigan, Huddersfield, and Cass.
Right.
Cass having the highest win percentage, as Wigan and Huddersfield have both played more games.
Right. Okay. No way.
And Wigan also being involved in the draw as well, which will take one out of that. So, of the sides who've taken part in more than one Magic Weekend, who has the lowest win percentage?
Lowest win percentage Magic Weekend. So Lee are out of this, aren't they?
Yeah.
Gonna go with. It's between 2. Widnes.
Incorrect.
Was it Catalan?
It was the Bradford Bulls, winning just 12.5% of their games.
Oh. See, this has thrown me through a loop because I was convinced Leeds must have won enough. After you saying that, I thought, well, Bradford must have won at least twice then. Oh well, not a great showing.
No. So, of the players who've played for England internationally.
Wait, let's just preface this, sort of cover off my. I'm going to make an excuse myself. Magic Weekend is the second drunkest weekend of the Rugby League calendar year for me.
And
Even when I'm not
Bradford,
there, I'm still pissed somewhere.
Leeds versus Bradford in mitigation does tend to be the last game of the Saturday.
Wigan v Leeds has been the last game of Saturday a few times as well. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So, of the players who've played for England internationally, are there more Pauls or more Daniels?
What's this? Oh, Magic. Right, I'm with you now. More Pauls.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'd imagine
How many do you reckon?
I'd imagine a ratio of about 4-1.
There have been 16 Pauls and 7 Daniels.
Oh.
So Paul Charlton, Paul Rose, Paul Newlove, Paul Broadbent, Paul Cook, the Leeds and Bradford one, Paul Skullfoot, Paul Rowley, Paul Sterling, Paul Deacon, Paul Wellens, Paul Anderson, Paul King, Paul Reilly, Paul Sykes, Paul Wood, and Judas Paul Cook.
Okay.
And then 7 Daniels: Hercombe, Norton, Danny Orr, Danny Williams, Danny Maguire, Danny Tickle, and Dan Sarginson.
There you go.
And finally, which McGee is the London Broncos kitman famed for his one-kneed pose when bringing out the kicking tee?
Willie?
No.
He
does have a groundskeeper Willie-esque appearance.
A complete stab in the dark. I can picture him. He's got a ponytail, hasn't he, and a sort of goatee beard. But yeah, that's it. I don't know his name.
It is the legend that is Steve McGee.
Ah, okay. There you go.
He's done pretty much every job at the club. He started off as the groundsman at Fulham, so he's been there right since the very beginning. Done the kit, done some coaching, done all sorts of things.
So they're just keeping him involved in any way they can now, I suppose.
Pretty much, yeah.
Beating heart of the London Broncos. Okay,
so
I didn't appreciate.
That's 3 out of 7.
Yeah, not good at all. Oh well. Recommendations then, Tim. What have you got for us? What hot beverages that you drink cold or cold beverages that you drink hot do you want to blow our minds with this week?
Well, I haven't got a tea. I wasn't going to have a tea one this week. But the 2 things I've got, firstly, is the Bare Necessities podcast, which is a podcast all about the Coventry Bears. It's a brilliant podcast, really did They do a really good sort of in-depth analysis of the games, talk to people around the club. But this week's episode is a special one, and it's got an interview with Tony Collins, the
brilliant.
historian of Rugby Reloaded.
I thought you were going to say Gary Schofield then.
That was the week before, yeah.
No, let's recommend the Tony Collins one.
But I think the Tony Collins one made me less annoyed.
I've not caught up with this week's one yet.
It only dropped last night, so I listened to it on the way into work this morning. But it's a really fascinating story. He's talking all about the original Coventry side that played around the turn of the century.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you've read the book in this together, it's featured quite heavily in that. The James Oddie book, which is very interesting. But Tony Collins talks all about that and about where he sees, Coventry sitting within the history of rugby league as a whole, and it's brilliant. So it's a really good interview, and obviously there's stuff about this week's game in there as well.
Brilliant.
But it's shout out to the two guys that do it, Dave and Craig, because despite me managing to walk in on pretty much every recording every week by bringing sound desk in, because they record in the suite just behind where I stand, and so I bring in the sound desk at pretty much the crucial point when they're talking, and somehow they managed to edit out the swinging door or the knocking of glass or whatever it is I managed to bump into this week.
Why don't they get you on?
Job. They said they want me on at some point, but there's more interesting people to talk to first, so they're probably waiting until they've got a quiet week.
I don't want to say what just came into my mind, but I was thinking they want credibility, whereas we just want laughs.
Yeah, cheap shots and all sorts. And the second one is linked again. Something I watched on my way back on Saturday was, and I think Rich might have mentioned it last week as well, is As Good As It Gets, which is the documentary all about the Leeds 2015 winning team.
Yeah,
and it was really interesting and had some really
Amazon Prime, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So if you've got your Amazon Prime, it's on there.
Or get your trial.
Or you can also, I think the DVD is also available off the As Good As It Gets website as well. So if you don't want to give your money to Amazon, you can order it directly from the guys there. So it's really good, some really interesting bits on that. A few questions it pulled up as well. So there's a bit about Hardacre, and Zach Hardacre was talking very open and honestly. It's very interesting sort of insight into his psyche and the way he works. And there was a bit with talking about did raise some questions about how Steve McNamara handled him when he was at England, and that time when he went out and got in the fight in the Four Nations. There's some quite key bits in there that does make you question McNamara yet again and his man management skills, and the fact that he apparently told him he was playing and then told him he wasn't playing, and then was surprised that he went out and got pissed on the back of it. So it's quite interesting. Also, some bits with Brian McDermott, which is a bit interesting, and a classic bit from Zach Hardacre making a dig at Phil Clark, which is always good to see. So highly recommend that one. It's a really good one to watch. It was quite quick as well, so it was only sort of an hour and a half long, and it did breeze through quite well. And there's some, you had the Hetheringtons in there talking as well.
Yeah,
and it's well worth checking out.
I will be making a point of watching it at some point. I just haven't got around to facilitating that so far. My recommendations: one, I'm sure 18 months or so ago I recommended Westworld, but season 2 is off to an absolute flying start of that. It's just one of the most mind-bending, thought-provoking kind of television series out there at the moment. It's kind of escapist as well as raises a lot of thoughts about how things are and how things should be and that sort of stuff. So it's it's going great guns in series 2. Westworld is, so check that out if you can. And a Radio 4 show, Grown Up Land, with the wonderful Mae Martin, the Canadian comedian Mae Martin. I've only just stumbled across it over the weekend. I was actually listening to the comedy news show that they do on a Friday night on
News Quiz.